My name is Joe Flores. I'm a lawyer and a nurse practitioner. I was raised right here in South Texas and sold newspapers in Alice, Texas. As soon as I could, I started working in the hospital. Helping people has become a lifetime mission. I went to law school to help people even more. I understand medicine and I understand the law, and I will give your case the attention it deserves. Call me.
Welcome to South Texas Now, featuring attorney Joe A. Flores from the Flores Law Firm. He grew up right here in the Coastal Bend and became a physician's assistant, fell in love with the law, and became a lawyer. Each broadcast of South Texas Now brings you unique interviews with some of the voices that make a difference right here in South Texas. Now please enjoy this episode of South Texas Now.
And welcome to another episode of South Texas Now. You are watching it on our CBS, NBC, and CW affiliates, along with social media. I'm your host, Joe Flores, attorney and nurse practitioner. And I am proud, as always, to introduce our guests. With me today, I have somebody representing the art community. And it is vital, especially now in these times. Art is important. Art is important to children, to people throughout the lifespan, and it defines our culture. And so with great pride, I want to introduce Myra's, let's go back. I don't think that I need let me do this number. Let's go back 10 seconds, and then I'll say, it kind of sounded a little canned.
Anytime you're ready.
All right, so that last sentence, edit out, and then just say, and it's with great pride that I introduce our friend to the community, my friend, and someone who has contributed greatly to the art world. Welcome, Myra. How are you?
Hola, buenos días. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's a pleasure. Y buenos días también. And could you tell the audience your full name?
Yes, my name is Mayra Viviana Zamora.
Mayra, where did you grow up?
I love answering this question because I grew up in the little town called Tivoli, Texas.
Okay.
Population less than 500 people.
And what was it like growing up in a town that size?
It was, everybody knows your business, you know what I mean? But at the same time, that's a good thing because when someone needs a helping hand, the whole community comes together. So I was very well known in Tivoli, and I was always known as La Artista, the artist. But for me, art was an escape. There was nothing for me to really do, especially as a kid, until I got to middle school and high school. That's when I started really being involved in extracurricular activities. But art is a form of escape. My front yard, Joe, was completely puro cotton fields. So when I would look out in the front, it was just agriculture. Mm-hmm.
And tell us a little bit about your experiences as a child. Just what are some of the most vivid experiences you remember as a little girl?
Mm-hmm. Some of the most vivid imagery that I have is not even being in Tivoli, but spending my summers in Mexico. Every weekend we would go and just spend time with my abuela and my abuelos. So just when people always say, oh, I'm from a small town, I'm like, no, I'm from a small town. And whenever we would go to Mexico, my abuelitas didn't have like running water or anything like that. So I remember taking showers. They would have to heat up the water and boil it, have my little cup of water and just put it in there, and then that's how we would take showers.
Pero ¿dónde vivía? ¿Qué era el origen? ¿Era en cuál estado? In what state, what origin? Which state did you, or city, town, pueblo there in Mexico did you grow up when you went to go visit?
No, puro frontera. This is all border town.
Reynosa? Or,
bien cerquitas a Reynosa. It would be more cerquitas a Rio Bravo. So we call the place La Soledad, La 28 y La 27.
Oh,
Prisciliano Delgado.
I've got family there, too, and that's what prompted me to kind of have an accelerated Spanish experience. My father, but I always tell everybody, be proud of the Spanish you do speak. If you don't speak it and understand it, that doesn't make you less Hispanic at all.
Exactly.
We just had the opportunity to speak it, and you speak beautiful English and beautiful Spanish, so I compliment you for that.
Well, I appreciate that compliment, but I still think my Spanish is really es más o menos, como dice mi mamá, es bien mocha.
No, pero cómo no. Es que apenas tenemos una entrevista con Carlos Lopez, the broadcaster. We had an interview with him, and, I had the fortune or misfortune of representing people in the federal system that came from, a dozen Latin American countries. And do you know Lorena, the Latin dance party? She's on 90.3. She does a wonderful job. She's originally from Panama, speaks accentless English because she was trained by nuns from New York.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so I want to say a big shout to Lorena for educating, teaching me, and showing me the different dialects and cultures, and she's just amazing. And so I compliment you on your Spanish, particularly people born after 80. It's a great gift.
Yeah, that was actually my first language was Spanish. So when I went to elementary school, I was English second language.
I want to, talk about your art, but, that doesn't necessarily just, I hate putting people in boxes. Like they'll say, oh, you're a lawyer. They'll say, oh, wait a minute, you're studying to be a physician. You tipped your toe in it by becoming a nurse practitioner that could prescribe and diagnose, and you decided your path was law. Tell me about the many paths that you have and your different interests.
So when I was in elementary, I had 3 dreams. I wanted to be an architect, archaeologist, and a fashion designer. As soon as I graduated from Tivoli, I got a $16,000 scholarship from Minnie Stevens Piper Foundation, and that was all help from all my teachers in Tivoli. So I ended up going to University Incarnate Word my freshman year because I was going to take the route of being a fashion designer. That's why I always just joke. I was like, that's why I always look so good. Just kidding. But
you do have exquisite taste, and your artwork reflects that.
Thank you. But then I got to Incarnate Word, and I thought I was under the impression that all I had to do was just draw the sketches and I would give it to a seamstress and they would do the final design. But no, when you're in fashion school, you have to learn the ins and outs, and I had to learn how to sew.
I love that reality show.
Yeah.
I forget what it's
Is it,
on, but we won't mention the name of the
okay.
station, but there is a name of the program.
Are you talking about Project Runway?
Yes.
Yes, I was obsessed with that show when it came out because it came out as soon as I went and started studying fashion.
And I think a designer, just like an artist, a painter, and stuff, has to do everything.
Everything.
Right? What made you interested in architecture?
I just always loved it. I think for me, being a Latina and growing up in a small home, I would have to share a bedroom with my sister Karina, just 2-bedroom, 1 bath in Tivoli, pero está chiquita la casita. But for me, it was just always dreaming, and just whenever we would travel to the valley, just seeing the big houses, or even we would come to Corpus, going through Ocean Drive, and just seeing how huge they were. So I wanted to be an architect.
Of course, of course.
But I would like to mention when I transferred over and became a full-time artist, through art history, I still got to learn architecture because that's part of the curriculum.
So let's break it down a little bit. Where did you, in Tivoli, did you graduate from high school there?
I was there kinder until I graduated.
And
so I'm a proud redfish. That was our mascot.
I want to ask you this. Who influenced you the most?
Mr. Garza. He was my kindergarten art teacher until I graduated. And he was the one who told my parents that I could, if I wanted to, that I had the potential to be a great artist. And of course, growing up, having Latino parents, they want me to be like a lawyer, a doctor, all these different avenues that would potentially make you money. Because you don't really hear someone being a successful artist and making it
until they're dead, and then they're worth millions.
And I don't mean to laugh, but that's so true. So my goal in life right now is like, I feel like my time really would come, and I hate saying this, until I pass away. But at the same time, I always tell my friend Monica, it's like, I'm here, I'm alive. I want people to know what I'm doing, and I don't want to be viejita and real old until I die and then make it. So I'm still trying. I feel like I'm very much paving the way for other Latino artists that are coming up.
And that's why I wanted to bring you on in our audience of 2 million plus, including social media. We need to get the word out. that Latinos have and Latinas have a lot to offer in the art world. Sculptors, painters, you name it. And not just and I am very proud to be an attorney, but I'm very proud to also be in el campo médico in the medical field. I think that is rewarding as well. And I'm also a cartoonist.
What? I didn't know that. I would love to see your cartoons.
They were on the bordering vulgarity. I would make them sorry of the professors, and we were so bored to death. We'd pass it around the whole 130 of our section, and everybody had it. But I've been making cartoons since I was a little boy.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I wanted to be a cartoonist. So we all have that wild artistic streak in us. But I also had a verbal, you can't shut me up. So, and I believe in fighting for the rights of people like you. But time flies by. The first half of the show, the 3 minutes is all yours. Tell us about your experiences. Tell us about what impacts you and your process. You don't have to give away the trade secrets, but whatever you want to talk about, talk to me.
Okay, well, now the process is almost like a formula to me. Like, I think of the Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So it's like this plus this equals a Mayra Zamora artwork. So usually my process always begins with a ruler, a grid fabric ruler, which I would have never found that ruler if I didn't go to Incarnate Word and study fashion design.
Seriously.
So I always tell these kids too, sometimes the failures in life is a blessing in disguise. And I'll get into the failure part later. But the process, I always start with the canvas. I always do between a 1 inch to a 3 inch border, and that gives me the 4 corners. And then I do what I call my art signature. It's almost like a bird's eye view of a pyramid looking down, and it also represents the stages of my life.
And thank you, Bill, for putting up those images, and for you for contributing those images. Remember, they are copyrighted, and you'll have to answer to me if you try to copy from my good friend Myra.
One last thing I do want to mention before...
Oh, there's no rush. This is your show.
Okay, is my codex. So when people are familiar and know that there's a codex, yes, so you have to decipher what my work says. And a lot of my codex now, which you'll see in one of my murals, is always in black and white. And you're probably like, what are you talking about?
Anything you feel comfortable with, tell me a little bit about that.
The codex started when I was little. And Tivoli, always hiding things in my work until I came to A&M Corpus Christi undergraduate school. It really developed in 2009. It's very stylized. And the reason I came up with this is because all pre-Columbian art, just cultures in general, all have their foundations of writing.
That pre-Columbian art, in the second half of the show, we'll get into your with every artist there's research.
Oh, yes.
And I'd like for people to look at your work, if that's okay, as we're talking, that those images are flooded, because I want people to get a sense of your style and also get a sense of that. We've got 30 seconds left. What would you like to tell the Latinos and Latinas out there that are, whether they're 3 or they're 25 or 85, about art?
About art, is to never give up on your dream. When you give up, that's when your dream goes completely away. But if you stick on that path, success will come. You're not an overnight success. Remember that too.
If you do nothing, you're sure to fail. But if you do something, life begins with a journey of 1 foot into 10,000 feet.
Yes.
We're with Myra Zamora, and we're going to be coming Mayra Zamora para ustedes que hablan nuestro idioma español. And don't worry, if you don't speak Spanish, that's cool. If you speak French, si vous parlez le français or tu parles français, that's cool too. And we also do it for our Brazilians out there. Bem-vindo, mis amigos que falam português também. We shall be back after these messages, and thank you.